welcome to the show. I'm Paul, the Tactical Historian, and today we're going to be talking about gear. Yes, I know you tactical historians love talking about gear. You'll talk about flashlights, you'll talk about firearms, you'll talk about knives, but one thing that gets overlooked all the time is holsters, okay? So I know guys who will spend hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, on their firearm, but then they'll skimp out on holsters, which is actually very, very bad. My partner in law enforcement, before he was partnered with me, had another partner who actually got injured on the job due to a poor quality holster that caused a negligent discharge, and he got injured. Now, that's a true story. He actually sued the holster company, and they were found liable for that, and he got some money out of it. But that just goes to show you that having a poor quality holster is actually not safe. Another thing is, having a poor quality holster is not going to do its job. It's not going to help keep your firearm clean, and it's not going to help, prevent that wear on your firearm. And if you spend a lot of money on your firearm, you're going to want to have a holster that helps maintain that firearm, okay? So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite companies, Craft Holsters. Now, Craft Holsters, I think, does a great job. They specifically specialize in leather holsters, but they do have Kydex and nylon options for you heathens out there. I prefer leather. I think leather is the best way to go. It's the most comfortable, and if it's good enough for John Wayne, it's good enough for me. Now, they're not a sponsor of the show. I'm not being paid to say this at all. In fact, Craft Holsters was one of the first holsters I purchased when I first became a gun owner, and I still have that holster to this day, and it works perfectly fine. But after I interviewed them for you guys, they did send me a holster, and it came in this wonderful box, which is really refreshing because most holster companies, when you buy a holster from them, will send you their holster in a glorified Ziploc bag. So when you see something like this, you already know that they take pride in their work. The packaging, of course, in the box comes plenty of packaging, okay? Comes with some stickers and some instructions in here. But it also comes with an awesome small break-in kit, which is really neat because those of us who know what a good quality leather holster is, sometimes you do have to break in the leather, just like good leather shoes. And personally, I don't think I really need this. When it comes to breaking in a leather holster, oftentimes I'll just leave my firearm in that holster overnight, and I'll probably leave it in that holster for the week, and I just won't remove my firearm from that holster, just keep it in there, and usually that breaks in the holster fine. But for those of you who are in a hurry for some reason and need to expedite that process, I'm sure that this would help. I might try it out just because they sent me one and see how it goes and let you guys know. So that's really cool. The holster itself comes in a little bag here, which is kind of neat. And like I said, I mean, you can tell from the packaging that these guys really do take pride in their craft. And here you have a beautiful pancake holster, and I love pancake holsters. Thank you so much, Al from Craft Holsters, for sending me this. I love pancake holsters. Pancake holsters are, known by law enforcement. Most times if you see a law enforcement guy wearing a pancake leather holster, beat up, you know it's probably a veteran law enforcement officer. Pancake holsters are very popular with law enforcement. So I love leather holsters. I love pancake holsters. These are great. Thank you so much for sending me this. I can go on and on about how much Craft Holsters is an amazing company, but I'm going to let them talk for themselves. I'm going to let you listen to Al because he does an amazing job telling us about his company and what they do.
So welcome to the Tactical Historian. I am Paul, the Tactical Historian, and today I'm with Al Michalix. I know I'm brutalizing it, but
That's
he
all right.
is our friend from Craft Holsters, and we're going to be talking about some of the best holsters on the market, right?
Hopefully. Many people see it that way. Thank you, Paul, and thank you for inviting us, not just me, but the company, to your channel. And I hope your followers will really like the interview. I hope I'm not going to mess it up much.
No,
I'm not the best person for this, but let's see.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on, taking the time. And for our listeners who don't know, actually, you're coming to us pretty late in the evening because you guys are based out of Slovakia, right?
Yeah, we are, which is actually, for those who might not know, it's a Central European country. It's actually former Czechoslovakia. My colleague Clara from the customer care department, she always starts the conversation with this. So we are based in Slovakia, former Czechoslovakia, right? So that's where it is. Yeah.
Right, right. So, and I was telling you earlier on, my folks came over from Slovakia. They were from a small town called Jamnik. And you were actually telling me how they would actually spell Hosa
Yeah,
over there. It would have a little accent, right?
Yeah, it would be Hoja. I guess it would
Hoja.
be Hoja. So
Yeah, they must have, when they came over on Ellis Island in New York City, they must have, changed or Americanized the name a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did craft holsters get started though in Slovakia? How did this all begin?
So actually, the company is rooted in family tradition. I mean, the company itself, Craft Holsters, we didn't start that long ago. It's a couple of years. Could be, it's like the opinions differ, but it's some 5-6 years, I would say, that we have been quite established in the business. Not known, but established already, I would say. So 5-6 years back. But before that, our CEO, he comes from a family where leathercraft, everything that's connected with leather was a really big family tradition. Yeah, so that's probably it's some 5-6 years as craft holsters, but the experience is much longer than that.
And that's through leather crafting, like working with leather.
Yeah. If I get this right, like the father of our CEO, he actually used to do a lot of leather work, and it was mainly for like huntsmen, so various apparel that can be used during hunting, and also some clothing and stuff like that. Obviously not leatherish, but anything that's connected to that, and then leather equipment. So I can't tell you exactly which things, but
Right.
Yes, it's
No, we get the idea, the gist of it, and that's fantastic to have a family
and
tradition.
I just want to add that his father of our CEO, he actually established, I think, what was the first leather holster company in Slovakia, right?
Oh wow, fantastic! And I've got to say, this actually, when I first got my first carry sidearm, it was the Glock 26, and I still carry it. And I still use the first holster I bought was one of your guys's holsters, leather holsters. And I'm a big leather holster guy, and I love this holster. So, so I really appreciate. I know you guys know what you're doing. So really, I got to ask you, as someone who's working for the company, what makes a good holster? What do you think makes a good holster?
Well, for us at Craft Holsters, it's first of all, it's good leather, right? Because we are leather guys. Obviously, we do have some Kydex holsters, nylon holsters on our offer, and maybe some other products, but it's mainly that high quality material, which I believe our holsters actually are made of. It's Italian leather, full grain leather, most of it, right? I mean, most of our products. So you need to start with that, right? You also have to have high quality, durable stitching, right? So that the leather doesn't fall apart. And then, of course, it's all about the fit, right? You want your gun, I mean, the holster, you want it to fit your gun. Otherwise, it's pretty much useless, right? If it doesn't fit, then I would say it must be safe, solid holster, right? Because that's who we are, right? We are responsible gun owners, I guess. We care about safety, and we also want our guns to be safe inside the holster. Then I would say, well, safety, that also means like retention, I guess, right? You want the holster retain your gun well, which can be achieved through the fit as well. And then I would say must feel good, and I hope that your holster still feels good even after years of use, and it should be also a bit unique, right? It should be different than maybe other holsters, so that you have a reason to use the holster, right?
Right. I'd absolutely agree with that. And that was sort of an argument I was having, or a debate, I should say, with a couple of friends of mine who, you know, they're big Kydex guys. They'll buy the Kydex holster. They'll add the white light to their firearm. They've got the extra magazine. They've got the whole 9 yards on there, and it looks great. And then they leave it in their car, or they leave it at home because it's not comfortable anymore, you know? And that's what I'll say about leather holsters, is that they are comfortable. They're much more comfortable, in my opinion. And, you know, you're going to carry something if it's comfortable. If you want to add all those bells and whistles to be the tactical guy, and then you leave it at home, it sort of defeats the purpose, right? So I always stick with the leather. I think it's comfortable. I think it's easier to carry around. What do you think about the benefits of leather versus Kydex, or the benefits of leather in general?
Well, I would start with the looks, I guess, because it just looks so much better. I would say.
Right.
Of course, like Kydex can look good, nylon can look good, but it's not leather, and that's the first point I want to make. Secondly, you know, it's probably easier to achieve that great fit with a well-made leather holster, because it just, you know, your gun just sits snugly inside the holster. It's also more custom, I would say. It's easier to customize leather than it is with Kydex, which is like probably thicker material, and you know, it's harder to shape probably. I mean, you can use 3D and stuff like that, you know, machines. But leather also adds another benefit, and especially when the leather holster we are talking about is handmade, you know, because if something is handmade, it just adds to the overall value, I would say, of that product. So that's about it, I would say. But what I like about our holsters, I know that they should be mainly about functionality, which I hope our holsters are, and actually believe in that, but they just look good, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. As I tell people, you know, characters like John Wayne did not carry a Kydex holster. You know, they always carry leather holsters. Now, there's many different ways to carry a firearm, right? There's, you know, you can have a shoulder, inside the waistband, outside the waistband. What sort of products do you have to cater to these different types of how people want to carry their firearm?
Well, actually, what we are trying to do, by the way, I forgot to add one thing. I really wanted to point this out. It's just, you know, leather that's associated with the past, I would say, you know, because we are living in a modern era, you know, you can't see that many products of high quality leather anymore. And this is like something like, I believe our holsters, and possibly even holsters of other companies, there are much better known companies that make leather holsters, right? But it's some kind of a throwback, you know, to those good old times, like Western times and stuff like that.
Right,
I know that they probably carry differently, you know, it's not what Hollywood shows us. It was a bit different, but you know. But to get to your question, I'm sorry. I mean, we try to cater to everyone's taste, you know, so we've got like all sorts of carry styles. Obviously, the belt holsters are probably what dominates the world right now. It's a world of concealed carry, so it's inside the waistband holsters, right? But obviously, we've got many outside the waistband holsters, which can be carried differently. I don't know, it's like dominant side holsters, cross-draw holsters, ideal for driving and stuff like that, office jobs, you know, if you need to stay safe during your job. Duty holsters for law enforcers, you know, pedal holsters and stuff like that. And of course, the holsters I like best are shoulder holsters. I know that they have fallen out of fashion a bit, but it still looks really good. And then we've got also some, I don't want to say less popular, but let's say more alternative styles, such as, I don't know, ankle holsters, right? Belly band holsters for those who like sports and stuff like that. Recently, we also added a chest holster, Alaskan chest holster. You know, it's a popular design, so we decided to introduce that as well. And then many different like off-body options, you know, such as concealment bags, pouches, stuff like that. And then gun belts and magazine pouches, speed loader pouches. Well, you know, I would like to say that we have got it all. Not sure if we have, but
well, it certainly does sound like you have everything, man. It sounds like you got it all covered. I know you just mentioned that you do like the shoulder holsters. What would you recommend to somebody who is like a first-time gun owner, first-time concealed carry, or first-time carry, and they came up to you and they said, hey, I'd like to buy a holster, what would you recommend to this person?
Yeah, probably if a person is like a first-time gun owner, or they are going to buy their first holster, and most of our customers are from over the United States, right? So it's important probably to check out what the CCW laws are in the given country, right? So you need to find out what your state actually allows you to do with your gun. Personally, I would say maybe thumb brake holsters, something with an additional safety device, isn't a bad idea, because it's all about safety, and especially if you are new to guns, you have to do everything you can to stay safe and to manipulate the gun safely, even when drawing or reholstering. Thumb brakes might be quite complicated because it takes a while to get used to them. But I think if you run the holster and your gun through a couple of practice sessions, I guess you quickly learn how to use it well. So maybe that, right?
Well, so for those of us who might not know, thumb brake is, what exactly does that mean? Or what does that look like?
I'm not sure. Can I show it on air?
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if my camera is good enough, but it's this part, right? Some people call it, I think, a safety latch or something like that. Others might call it something like a release strap, or whatever goes, or a leather strap simply. So it's something that is supposed to be an additional retention device. Because, like Kydex holsters, they come with those levels of retention, right? The first, the second, the third. So this could be something like a second, I would say, level of retention when it comes to leather holsters. The first one being the fit. If the fit is like a glove, right, which is one of our mottos, it fits like a glove, then you've got enough retention. But adding a thumb brake is never a bad idea, I would say, right?
Well, you just mentioned the fit, right? And that was
Mm-hmm.
going to be one of my questions coming up, is as a leather holster guy like yourself, some things I've noticed that, or one of the complaints someone might have, is that when you first buy a really good leather holster, it takes some time to break it in, to finally get it to where you need it. What sort of tips would you give to somebody who wants to break in that leather holster?
Well, the most important tip of all of them, or any that I can come up with, is not to start panicking, because it's fresh leather. Fresh leather is often quite stubborn. As the holsters are, at least our holsters are always molded on a replica of the gun they are ordered for, hence the custom word. Custom means like it's customized to that particular pistol or revolver or whatever. So it might sometimes be necessary to run the holster through something that's called a break-in process, right? Which allows to stretch the leather a bit, right? So that it's easier to put the gun inside, it's easier to draw without any difficulties, right? So if you administer the break-in procedure, then you should be good to go, right? So,
right.
So that's it.
Can you run us through like what that procedure might look like?
So when it comes, for example, to this holster, again, right? Or I will show you a different one, right? To show you a bit of variety. So this one would be an inside a waistband holster. It's actually called Lynx. It's CH200 on our product list. That would be the code. Some customers like to order through codes. This one was made for, if I'm not mistaken, it's a Zig SP 2022, right? So imagine that you have just taken the holster out of the box, right? Try to put your gun in for the first time, and let's say it doesn't go all the way in, which could be a problem, right? Because look at it, right? If your trigger is still showing, that's not good, right? You don't want that. You want to be safe. So what you need to do is actually take the holster. Probably the easiest way is to get a plastic bag here, right? Which means you will take your gun, you will put it inside the bag, and then you would shove it like all the way inside the holster, right? you can also force it inside a bit. You cannot use like too much force, but don't be afraid to use some force, right? And then you would just let it sit inside the holster overnight, in the bag and inside the holster, right? And usually after some 10 to 12 hours, the leather, fresh leather should let go a bit, right? And the holster should start feeling much more, let's say, snug, right? So the fit should be adjusted and a bit better. It doesn't like work 100% of times, right? Sometimes you need to use some other techniques. You can use the thing we advise to use is actually denatured alcohol, which often helps. We even have like products that are like called breaking kits, small breaking kits. Not sure if you can see it, right? But there is a small something like a vial or flask or whatever, a small bottle inside. You can use that denatured alcohol. You can apply it on all the key parts, especially the trigger guard covering. That's important, right? Or if we are talking about those thumb brake holsters, you can either play with it a bit, you know, use a bit of force, try to stretch it by force, but then you can also apply the liquid on all the important parts of the strap. And once again, if you do it properly, it usually helps, almost always, right? If it doesn't, second tip would be, again, don't panic, just repeat the process. You know, it eventually will let go. Yeah, so that's about it.
You know, and so that's a great tip, but walking someone through that, I have my craft holster, and I'll tell you, I just used it every day. You know, just keeping that firearm inside that holster and just leaving it there overnight, that also worked too for me. It might take a little bit longer, but I mean, it didn't take that long, you know, and it gets the job done. We have just seen a couple of the holsters you have next to you. They are beautiful. Do you have any products that you'd like to show off? Maybe any new products for this year?
New products, yeah. So those who are at least a bit familiar with our company, you know that we actually work with a couple of producers, have some partners, let's say, who also have their own companies, right? They also sell their own products, but we also have some of our products made by them for us, for our customers, right? But we also have a line of our in-house products labeled craft holsters, you know, it's our designs. So I would introduce, let's start with outside the waistband. That's one of the most popular carry styles. So this one, CH100, it's called a Panther holster, really popular design. This one is for 2.5-inch revolver, I think a K-frame, if I'm not mistaken. I could try it out, but I'm afraid it might not fit because I'm not sure which revolver I have over here, you know, and I don't want to show something.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, this one. So actually, it has been on our offer for some 2, maybe even 3 years. But this year we refurbished the design a bit. We started using, it's still Italian leather, but a different thickness of leather, you know, and it just looks so much better than the former model. So this one. Then I would go with the, let's say, a small of a bag holster, small of the bag or middle of the bag or whatever, 6 o'clock holster, right? So this one is CH300. I don't know. This one isn't maybe that popular. Not that many people like SOBs anymore, but I would still say it's a good choice if you really need to carry behind your bag, if you don't have any other way of concealment, possibly even for those who spend a lot of time out there in the woods. You know, just be careful when wearing an SOB holster. It might not always be 100% safe. You know, if you trip over or if you fall on your bag, that could be a problem. So be careful when carrying this. Then I would show the inside the waistband holster, which I have already shown. Again, new design. You can see that they look alike, these 3 holsters. Then we've got a chest holster, a new addition to our lineup, our holster roster, but I don't have it here on my desk, so sorry, it will take some time to get it. And then quite recently, we also run something that's called Custom Shop. We've got our own in-house Custom Shop craftsman who actually makes these holsters. They look a bit more unique. They are actually based on this design the one that is regularly on our offer, these are a bit more unique, you know, because custom doesn't always mean custom, you know. Of course, it's for the gun, but if you want to make it even more custom, you can get something more unique, right? So these would be the holsters. There is also one in black leather. And then I would just say what's probably best about our offer is that we try to deliver holsters for a really wide range of pistols and also revolvers. Many people think we don't make holsters for revolvers, but we actually do. Any design on our offer is available for both pistols and revolvers. All right, maybe I'm lying. There might be an exception, like 1 or 2 designs are solely for pistols, but most of it is for pistols and revolvers. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And those are some beautiful, beautiful pieces, man. Those are that's some really great work.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, yeah, I mean, you mentioned it a little bit, but who exactly are you making these holsters for? What's your biggest demographic of buyers, I guess you could say?
When it comes to demographics, most of our customers obviously are American citizens, right? Although we are not an American company, I understand how important for you guys it is to get something that's homemade, that's American made, but we try to cater to what you actually like. And I would say for pretty much for our motto is custom holsters for everyone, right? But what we mean by that is actually for any responsible gun user, right? Anyone who wants to carry responsibly, anyone who wants to carry something that I dare to call a timeless classic, let's say. So anybody who likes high quality leather, that's who our holsters are for. And possibly even for those who can't get what they are looking for elsewhere, you know, because, you know,
well, right. No, fantastic. And I would say, you know, when you talk about, you know, homemade, well, you know, my family, since they came from Slovakia, I'll say, you know what, it's homemade to me. So I'll take it.
Great.
Right?
So it's homemade holsters.
Yeah. Well,
actually, I know that sometimes people, some of our customers might get angry that it's not written on our website right on the top that it's not like US made. But it's good for them also to know that it's, even though it's not America made, I think it does what you call a leather holster justice. I think so. It doesn't really matter where any of us come from, you know, as long as we show some values and quality and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. And you've definitely demonstrated that today. And you've demonstrated that silently by, you know, me carrying a craft holster and actually using it. So I can attest to that personally. One of the last things I'd like to ask you is, what do you tell people that you see that have maybe an expensive firearm that's a great looking firearm, you know, great reliable firearm, and they've got it tucked in a cheap holster, if they have a holster? What would you say to those guys?
Well, don't be cheap, I guess. I'm joking. I understand that, you know, everybody lives on a certain budget, but the thing is, if somebody is willing to pay even thousands, right, a couple of thousands for a custom, let's say 911, then why not getting a holster that, I mean, our holsters, belt holsters, they come at some $80. I know it can be sometimes a lot, you know, we are living difficult times, but I think it's worth the investment. You get a safe holster, you know, you get a holster that lasts. You don't have to change it every 2 or 3 years, you know. So yeah, just invest. I think it's worth investing in one's safety.
Absolutely. Safety, and leather holsters, despite what people say, they last forever. They like these good ones last a long time, right?
Yeah, that's true. And if somebody has a more expensive gun, it's probably a gun that also looks really classy, and it deserves to be carried inside a good looking holster, I would say. So
absolutely. And last and most importantly, right, how can people actually find your website? What's your website? What's your social media? How can they get access to your products?
Yeah, so first of all, our website, where you can find our entire offer. So it's www.craftholsters.com. Then we also run social media profiles. So you can just look us up on Facebook, again, just craft holsters, right, with a space. Then on Instagram, it's one word, craft holsters, everything together. You know, we also run our Twitter. Maybe we are not that active over there, but we still do have some presence. And then I think in the past we also used Pinterest quite a lot, but we don't do that anymore. And YouTube, check out our YouTube channel, again, Craft Holsters. If you ever want to find out about some of our newest products, usually you will see videos about them on our channel. You will see a really handsome guy with a braided beard called Luke, my boss, right? Not the CEO, but maybe soon to be. And yeah, and you can pretty much just look up craft holsters on YouTube and watch some channels, like, for example, Tactical Historian, right? So you can find out about us also through awesome interviews such as the one held by you, Paul, is. Or just type in craft holsters review. You will see some of our reviewers who actually always put together an unbiased review. You know, they just get the product and it's up to them, whatever they decide to talk about. So you can find out about positives, about negatives possibly, because nothing is perfect, right? We would love our products to be perfect, but you know, it's not always possible. So that's it, I guess.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. I guess, so is it going to be a requirement soon for everyone to grow that beard and get it braided? I think that should be a thing, right?
Actually, you know, I said that Luke is something like my boss. So whenever I shave, he's really furious with me. He's like, come on, you look like a 30-year-old baby. So I guess it's probably best idea to grow a beard, you know, if you want to talk to him. But yeah, no, it's not a necessity. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the time. I know it's late where you're at, so I don't want to take more of your time. So thank you so much.
Completely fine. Thank you for inviting us. And on behalf of Craft Holsters, really thank you, Paul. And thank you to all of your followers. You know, follow this channel, Tactical History. It's great. It's amazing. And I hope you guys will soon build a really nice community, you know, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Oh, absolutely. We'll definitely stay in touch.
Yeah, right. Thank you.